Good afternoon, Thriving Therapist. How are you guys? It's so great to be back here for my Thursday Thriving Therapist Facebook Live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I wanted to get in here today to talk a little bit with you guys about what does it mean to be a thriving therapist. And I love this community because we share so many great ideas on not only how to build a practice, but how to build additional income streams, and also how to take really good care of ourselves and how to manage our business like a really savvy entrepreneur. So I want to go through just a couple little quick steps today, some things that I think have really helped me when it comes to kind of breaking through the glass ceiling, not only in my capacity to serve a larger audience, but also in my capacity to elevate my income as well. So one thing that I think that I hear over and over again on our page is about mindset. And a lot of people who are starting a practice or who are starting to try to have the courage to show up in a way to build additional streams of income are always saying things like, I don't know, am I really ready to do this? I feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. And I hear you. And I see you and I know what it feels like because I've been there too. But I want to encourage you guys to have the right mindset. So how do we do that? We sometimes fake it till we make it. Sometimes we have to have what is called distress tolerance that we know a lot about in our field, which breaks down to willingness, right? Are you willing to be a little bit uncomfortable? Because in order to step into something new and unfamiliar, you have to have a sense of willingness to be a little bit uncomfortable as you're moving into that. So what does that look like? It means that you show up to do things that you may not be 100% ready for and you might feel afraid of, but you're going to have the courage to do it anyway. So building a practice, for example, is a little bit of a scary step when you may have tons of great clinical knowledge from your education, but you don't have maybe all the knowledge you need in terms of how to run a business. I know when I was starting to run my private practice, I was like throwing darts at the dartboard. I really didn't know what I was doing. I felt really nervous about starting my practice, but I knew I wanted to do it. So the other part of what it is like, in my opinion, to be a thriving therapist has a lot to do with claiming the vision. In the beginning, when I was building my practice, I had a vision. I didn't know exactly how I was going to get there, but I knew I was going to get there. And I knew what it was going to look like. I knew that I wanted my own office one day. I knew that I wanted a certain ideal client that I was going to be able to service. I knew that I wanted to be able to do lots of things when it comes to self-care, mindfulness, and wellness. Model kind of offerings, like I wanted to do retreats, I wanted to do workshops, I wanted to do groups, I wanted to create a sense of community that was really important to me. And so I really want to encourage you guys to remember that mindset is really important when it comes to being a thriving therapist, in my opinion. I'd love to also hear from you guys too, so feel free to let me know what you think part of the recipe is to being a thriving therapist, because this is a collaborative effort, right? And the other part of it is having the vision. So I do think those two things go hand in hand. And in addition to that, like we mentioned earlier in this Facebook Live, having the willingness to be uncomfortable, to be afraid, to not have all the answers, to feel like sometimes you're guessing at what you're supposed to do next, and still showing up with courage. I will tell you guys, when I started doing this Thriving Therapist Facebook group, I knew that I wanted to do Facebook Lives. I knew that I wanted to put trainings out there for you guys. I knew that I wanted to do some different kinds of like mini workshops and give you all the tips I could think of that have helped me build my practice. But I was terrified of doing Facebook Lives. And one day in the future, I promise I will dig out some of the outtakes of my practice runs, because they're all living on my phone and they're hysterical because I was terrified to record myself kind of talking into the void. It's a really different experience when you're used to being a therapist and you're used to having a dyad kind of experience with your client where they're talking and you're talking and it's super active and interactive. When you're doing Facebook Lives and when you're doing trainings, or when you're, for example, if you're interested in building an online course, you have to get comfortable doing this kind of thing where you're talking into the void and you're speaking into a camera, and that was kind of scary for me. So why do I share that? Because pushing myself to do things that are a little terrifying for me have now become second nature. And did I feel ready to host retreats in Costa Rica? No, I had never even been to the place that I was hosting a retreat at when we first started going there. Did I feel ready to build a group practice and hire a therapist to work with me? No, I had no idea what I was doing, but I did it anyway. Did I feel ready to run a workshop and teach a bunch of people online how to build a retreat? No, I had no idea if I was ready to do that or not, but I knew I was willing and I knew I was ready to take that leap because I'm not afraid to do things that scare me. So I want to encourage you guys to harness that kind of courage and bravery too, because you can do it. The other thing that I think has helped me a lot when I didn't know what to do next was looking ahead at someone who has done it before me successfully. So as you know, I've been talking a lot this week. This is registration week, so we've been talking a lot about registering for my course, How to Build a Thriving Practice, which is only open 4 times a year. So that's open this week. So that's why you've been hearing a lot from me. If you're on my email list or if you're in our Facebook group, you've been seeing a lot of information about that because I only do it 4 times a year. So I'm sorry that I'm kind of pushing it out there a lot, but I do want you guys to be aware that this is the time to register if you are interested. And then the other part of it is the membership. And the membership piece is an ongoing thing that you can join at any time, but it's going to be really kicking off in February with our wonderful guest speakers that we have lined up, helping us understand more about making and managing money. So that's our theme for February. The membership information is under the announcements tab on this page, and it's also in the cover photo. It's called Elevate, and it's designed to help you elevate your work and income. But what I was going to say about that is I took a training with a really awesome guru on how to build a membership because I didn't know how to do it, and I wanted to learn from an expert. So I followed in his footsteps. I took his course. I invested in the coaching. I invested in the program, and it really helped me feel confident in knowing exactly what I needed to do to offer that to this community. So I like to have a guide, and I like to have someone who has gone before me who I can follow in their successful footsteps. So if that's something that appeals to you, I'm here to help you. I've got a course and a membership available right now. This is registration week, so go ahead and check out the cover photo or the announcements tab, and you can get all the information there. And I would love to hear what you guys think it takes to be a thriving therapist. We know that we have to be great at our ideal client. We know that we have to understand our niche. We know that it's great to be able to establish our authority and expertise, and we have to know how to do that. We have to know how to market ourselves to our ideal clients so that they actually can find us and that our messaging resonates with them. We also have to be really good at building a referral network, which is something that a lot of people are curious to learn more about. So if some of these things are new to you, I invite you to dive into all the free resources we have here on this page, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. I do a ton of coaching with therapists in this group, and I'd be happy to help you. So remember, in order to be a thriving therapist, you have to be willing to be a little bit uncomfortable. You've got to push yourself to be brave, even when you're afraid, and you have to have a clear vision of what your next steps are. And I'm always here to help you if you need a guide. All right, take good care, you guys. It's great to see you, and I'll be back here again next week with Thriving Thursdays. Talk to you soon.